Greetings and welcome to Wideangle.
And stand by for a particularly fun-packed show tonight with our weekly canter through the best in arts and entertainment in the east of England.
Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes come in from the cold in their latest sci-fi scam, Demolition Man.
You're going to regret this the rest of your life. Both seconds of it.
And I get to meet one of the original rock legends as Ray Davies takes his band The Kinks out on the road again.
And comedy comes in the truly anarchic form of the irrepressible Bruce Morton.
You're in a bad mood, enjoying a good huff. What right has any bastard got to come along and cheer you up? Nah!
Mean muscle machine and 90s cop Sylvester Demolition Man Stallone has been hauled out of cold storage in the year 2032 to track down his old enemy Wesley Snipes, who's been prematurely thawed. It's an all-action chase movie with a difference, as you might come to expect from the producer of Lethal Weapon, Die Hard and Predator.
You're going to regret this the rest of your life. Both seconds of it. Good night.
I'm a sucker for things set in the future, tomorrow's world, all that sort of stuff. Like all that, and it's a sort of Tom and Jerry type affair, but with huge, muscular men.
What the hell is that?
John Spartan, you are fined 1 credit.
Bad language, chocolate, gasoline, uneducational toys, and anything spicy. Abortion is also illegal, but then again, so is pregnancy if you don't have a license.
Caveman, let's finish with all the Rip Van Winkle and get moving.
It works well for me, because there's, too much comedy with him and he falls flat on his back, and a bit too much action and it gets a bit boring. So it's quite a nice mix, I think.
Mag now reactivated.
It's about time.
Class is over, John. Time for something new and improved.
Oh, hell.
Right now, after these comedies that I did, I want to do something different, and this is what I think I do maybe best. I have to be realistic with myself, and I think these are something that I can identify with. And people sometimes think that action films are easy, and we're trying to show them now with these kind of films that they can be entertaining and also have a morality and a story to it.
There is, of course, a well-known and documented connection between sex and violence. And after having observed your behavior this evening and my resultant condition, I was wondering if you would like to have sex.
Wesley Snipes? Yes, in it. He's funny hair, but that, so we come see him coming, I suppose. He's got the hair. I didn't realise he was into all that jiu-jitsu stuff. That's a bit of a surprise. So good to see he's got some work.
6 of you, such nice, tidy uniforms. Oh, I'm so scared. What, you guys don't have sarcasm anymore?
Maniac has responded with a scornful remark.
Approach and repeat ultimatum in an even firmer tone of voice. Add the words, or else.
Simon Phoenix! Lie down on the ground, or else!
Okay.
It's good fun. It's good sort of lightweight, if it can be lightweight with that amount of damage going on.
We're police officers. We're not trained to handle this kind of violence.
3, 2, 2, 2.
In no
Bruce Morton has only been in comedy for 5 years, but already he's made numerous TV appearances and had his own series, Sin with Bruce Morton. After playing to packed-out houses at the Edinburgh Festival, he's about to bring his new one-man show to a venue near you.
Grudges don't talk to me. I love a good grudge. It's one of my big vices. I've been holding grudges against some people, I swear this is true, for so long that I can't remember what they did that pissed me off. Well, I must have been serious.
How does one become a comedian? First of all, you need a lack of something. You need a great big insecurity thing. You need an ego which needs to be fueled by love and adoration. You need a show-off temperament, and you also need a bunch of good jokes.
Similarly, if you're in the huff, I say get right into your huff. Enjoy your huff. See your huff like a kind of a sleeping bag. Climb inside it, zip it up. Like a duvet, just wrap it around yourself, embrace your huff. Yeah.
I've had proper jobs, yes. When I left school, I've worked in shops, offices, factories. I worked for Strathclyde Regional Council Finance Department, superannuation section, which was a high-pressure, high-moving, dynamic, challenging environment. Not.
And if they try to cheer you up, you know, your partner or whoever it is comes along and they start doing all that thing to you, you know, that sort of, oh, for goodness sake, come on, don't be childish now, come on, snap out of it. Don't talk to them. Remember the rule 1 when you're dishing out the silent treatment? Be silent.
I think actually within a bit of space, about 3 months, I had quit my job and split up from my wife and sold my flat and gone to college. And I always think that at the age of 25, it seems like I've just went, okay, I'll start again. You know, I'll just start again and see if it's any better. And so far it has been.
I mean, you can still say things. You can speak through your nose. You can say things like,
the heart of what I do is stand-up comedy, and I like doing it. That's why I do it. It's because it's good fun, and it's a very therapeutic thing, laughter. I mean, going out and I go out to see shows like as a fan. You know, people come up to Glasgow and go see Jeremy Hardy or whoever's coming along, and to go out, pay your £5 and sit there for an hour and a half and just howling and laughing, it's great. It's a real therapeutic thing. So if I can justify my existence in any way, I suppose there is a shamanistic element to my my part in the community.
I mean, look at it this way. If you're in a good mood, you won't want someone coming along there and bringing you down. So similarly, if you're in a bad mood and enjoying a good huff, what right has any bastard got to come along and cheer you up? Nah!
In this age of photography, we've become used to realistic images, but for King Henry VIII back in the 16th century, the startlingly lifelike pictures of master painter Hans Holbein must have come as quite a shock. Now, a selection of his works have been borrowed from the Queen's collection, and you can see just how outstanding these portraits are at the Fitzwilliam Museum in Cambridge.
Give us a really extraordinary view of what English society looked like in the early 16th century. I mean, in fact, they're practically the first English faces that you can really clearly see.
So what was his contribution to painting?
His portraits set a standard for English portraiture. People later on say nobody ever got a likeness like Holbein. I mean, maybe nobody ever has.
So is this not a specialist exhibition? Do you think many people will come and see this?
Old master drawings might seem to be rather an out-of-the-way subject, but actually I think anyone who's interested in human personality, what people look like, English history, would get an awful lot from this exhibition.
courtroom dramas don't come much glossier than Guilty as Sin, a film that stars Rebecca De Mornay as a hotshot attorney and Don Johnson as her dangerous new client. He's charged with first-degree murder, she's famous for getting people off. Together, they make a troublesome team.
There's a hell of a big difference between being a compulsive womanizer and a murderer.
Was your wife rich?
Very.
So you stand to inherit a great deal of money?
Yes. And I've earned every penny.
It's absolutely not thrilling at all. There's no tension. Everything is predictable, although it's supposed to not be predictable. It's all predictable. And the fact that he murdered all his exes and nobody actually managed to link it together.
We're dealing here with a case of cold-blooded murder for profit.
We need to get one thing very clear. I did not murder anybody.
He is obviously a guy who is so used to getting his way with women, such a womanizer, so full of himself.
Bartender, this one's on her.
Their whole relationship is, to me, kind of a ping-pong match.
You can tell about clients like I can tell about women. Like that.
You know, it's funny, I actually believe you. Liars are seldom as blunt.
Rebecca De Mornay is supposed to be the lawyer, and her performance is really weak and wimpy, and her sulkiness is exhausting, and it's a bit like watching a damp piece of baggy cod.
Tried to speak to you rationally, but you defy all logic, so I'm backing off.
Well, hope that makes your boyfriend happy.
I'm not doing this for him. I'm doing this because you're an impossible person. I don't have to put up with it, and I won't.
No, I'm the one that has to do things. I'm the one that has to stand trial. I have to defend myself and my whole lifestyle. I have to apologize for being me.
Don Johnson is definitely the man from CNA meets Psycho. He's very, it seems very over-rehearsed, and you can tell he's been doing his lines round the kitchen and doing a lot of smouldering in front of the mirror.
Jennifer, no one was keeping you. Oh, and Jennifer, Ms. Haynes, really like your hair that way.
The story is implausible. Jagged edge, it's not. And it's sort of held together with hairspray, expensive suits, and sort of Hollywood teeth wherever possible. It's really not. Take your knitting, you'll have a great time.
He's told me things he wouldn't tell anybody if he was going to let them live.
Jenny won't hurt you. He needs you. Frankly, I'm beginning to tire of you.
3, 2, 2, 2.
Grant Buffalo's debut album Fuzzy has left the music press groping for new words of praise and prompted REM's Michael Stipe to name it as his favourite album of the year. Now's your chance to find out what all the fuss is about as the trio arrive in England this weekend and take their show on the road.
Bring me home to this house of many days. Just lay me on the floor, hard and cool as slate.
The songs come about generally from ideas, songs that I brought in myself, you know. I bring them in such a state knowing that they may take a different direction, you know, or a different form in some degree, you know. But generally, you know, they're headed off in a particular way already, you know. It's just the case of what the other guys put on them, you know. I think it's really an intuitive thing that we do, you know. It's much more intuitive than methodical or something like that, you know. It's like a psychic thing or a survivalistic thing. It's something very animal.
To meet upon the interstate, waiting on a train.
We strive to get the same kind of spontaneity on an album, you know. But still, there are methods and everything, you know. There are methods in the studio. And I think that's the most exciting thing, is the element of danger and chaos, you know, that exists on stage. Because it's live, really, you know, that's what it's all about. And anything can go wrong, and it does. I never want to step on stage and do a recital, you know. If I wanted to do that, I would have learned how to read music. We don't use things like set lists or that kind of thing, you know. It's always a different moment. It's always a moment, you know. A moment that's fleeting, that won't be repeated, you know. Something that we're part of, something that you're part of, you know. And that's a special thing, you know.
Our car driving down the street.
The future is uncertain. I have no idea. I don't know if I want to know, actually, you know. I have some tarot cards. I'm afraid to use them.
And now, more action on the music circuit. Another Buffalo for you. Boston trio Buffalo Tom bring their very own brand of fuzzed-up guitar rock to the UK. Roy Ayres' musical career began as a small boy when the great Vibes player Lionel Hampton gave him his first pair of sticks, and 4 decades later, he's still doing Lionel proud. This week, there's a final opportunity to see the Royal Shakespeare Company's acclaimed production of Christopher Hampton's sexual power play, Les Liaisons Dangereuses. This tale of cold-blooded amorous intrigue is set in pre-revolutionary Paris, where the Marquise de Merteuil plots revenge on a former lover with her friend and conspirator, the Vicomte de Valmont.
I wonder if I'm beginning to guess what it is you're intending to propose.
Jacques is with his regiment in Corsica until October. That should give you plenty of time.
You mean to...
She's a rosebud.
You think so?
And he'd get back from honeymoon to find himself the laughingstock of Paris.
Well...
Yeah. Love and revenge, two of your favourites.
At its briefest, I think the play is about sex. More specifically, I think it's a play about whether it's possible to have sexual relationships that don't involve the emotions. And I would say that the dangerous liaisons of the title concern those relationships, the relationships that attempt to circumvent emotional involvement.
It's too easy. It is. What is she, 15? She's seen nothing, she knows nothing. She's bound to be curious. She'd be on her back before you'd unwrap the first bunch of flowers. Any one of a dozen men could manage it. I have my reputation to think of.
I think you underestimate her. She's very pretty. And she has a rather promising air of languor.
You mean she falls asleep a lot?
Basically, these two have had a relationship before the play begins. It's over. But they still are very intimate. And they set each other up in sexual relationships, usually for revenge, sometimes just for vicarious pleasure. And then they tell each other about it.
Shouldn't you have taken Madame de Tourvel there and then on the chaise longue?
I was expecting my aunt and the curé to appear at any moment.
Well, it would have been the most interesting thing to happen to them for years.
I think that the design of this show brilliantly uses theatricality in the right sense. I don't mean theatricality in a flamboyant sense, but theatricality in that it excites and invites the imagination to fill in the details. That it's not an elaborate recreation of late 18th century France. It's in fact a focus on a series of relationships.
I know you're incurably skeptical, but for me, with a woman, this is by far the best stage. It's what men talk about all the time, but hardly ever experience, the real intoxication, when you know she loves you, but you're still not quite certain of victory.
It's a play about sex, but it's written with fantastic elegance and wit and articulation. So it is a delight in itself, simply in the sheer quality of the writing. You put that together with the sensuality of the subject, and it's rather irresistible.
And the maid helped us to another discovery which might interest you.
Oh, yes?
Can you guess who it was who kept writing to my beauty, warning her to steer clear of the world's vilest pervert, namely me? Your damned cousin, the Valange bit. It's all very well for you to laugh. She set me back at least a month.
It's not that.
She wanted me away from Madame de Tourvel. Well, now I am, and I intend to make her suffer for it.
Well, I'm afraid that's it for tonight.
That's it. We'll come back next week for a refill when we encounter a one-man walking catastrophe, Lee Evans.
And we take a long, lingering look at Mel Gibson's new film, A Man Without a Face.
I think you'll agree, missing it is out of the question.
Good night.
Good night.